What is up, maniacs, and welcome back to WMMA Mania. This is episode 26. I am your host, as always, Drake Riggs, here to bring you all the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts when it comes to the ladies. So, appreciate you all so much for tuning in here on this Tuesday. Feels longer between Tuesdays than it does between Mondays, I tell you that much. So I hope you haven't missed out too much, though I'm sure there's not too much to miss out on. As this past weekend we had the 2022 PFL 9, or the semifinals, or the PFL playoffs, whatever you want to call it, deciding who is going to go to the finals there. Championship is all settled. We'll get into that, recapping that action. Not a lot to talk about. Not a lot to talk about today in general. It's going to be kind of a shorter episode than in general, as I do have something to get to right at the top of the hour as well, but that's all right because there isn't that much. There's no UFC this weekend, but there is 278 to recap, just one fight there, some news, and one fight to preview over in one championship, as you can see there on the cover. So yeah, before we get into things, you guys, whether you're new or a reoccurring viewer, appreciate you all the same. Don't forget to check out MMAmania.com for all the MMA needs you could possibly ever have. Don't forget to follow us, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms there are. And here on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit that notification bell so you don't miss a gosh darn thing. Really is a lifesaver if you're trying to tune in as often as you can. And that like button really goes a long way. So at least give that a click if you could here on YouTube. Again, if you're on Facebook or Twitter, wherever, that is great as well. But if you're on Twitter, must remind you, cannot see your comments, so go to one of the other spots and we can see them if you would like to interact as well and get some questions in or comments, concerns, whatever you might have. Those are appreciated all the same as well. So let's clean things up a bit here as we do to start things off. How is everybody doing? All right, we got some number spam from Facebook. That is a great way to start things. James, good to see you. All right, appreciate that. Rain says the Drake Riggs of interviewing Frank Trigg, which is big, like that. All right, this guy. Alvin, let's be fans of fighters. Fighters are the individuals who make this wonderful sport with grit, determination, and hard work. We should always praise fighters in victory or defeat. Attaboy. Makoto excited for the news cycle today, as is Jimmy. And yes, we will get to that. That is probably the big highlight for sure, even though not much of a surprise, but we'll get there when we get there. No, it's all right, Alvin. Don't worry about the Facebook ones. It's not, it's nothing too bad. Just some odd number spam, but I think we'll be all right there. Appreciate that person for tuning in all the same. So yeah, as the comments are separated for you guys, which makes sense. So I can see them all, but it is what it is. Let's kick things off with the PFL 9 event, or the PFL playoffs. And good to see you as well, Ghost. Thank you for tuning in. Not much surprises here with this one, as we will start off with the main event. Kayla Harrison defeated Martina Yenova via first round submission, arm triangle. 3 minutes and 17 seconds in, and I put up the wrong tab right away. We're off to a great start here on this August 23rd edition of the show. Anyway, there we are. So Kayla Harrison gets it done. Surprise, surprise, which was a minus 4,000 favorite. Martina Yenova, the kickboxing specialist, arguably probably the best striker at the tournament this season. So her chances were on the feet as soon as a takedown was coming her way. That was pretty much it. And that was how it did go. As you can see from that single leg, that high, very high single in the screenshot here. Martina was moving well early on. Didn't really get a chance to land anything. But hey, again, this is just how it goes. There was really like no hype going into this fight. In terms of compared to Kayla's like last couple, I think people are definitely getting over the fact that we're just seeing the same thing over and over again. But I mean, hey, credit to her for being able to do that. And this event also took place on the same day as UFC 278, even though it was in the morning and over in London. I think that was actually kind of a nice way to bleed into it, kind of like KSW generally will, which is a full fight day. So that wasn't too much of a problem in my opinion, but it seemed like the promotional side of the event was very limited from the PFL side. They're generally pretty good about making some noise, but there was not much for this event, I don't think. So either way, Kayla's going to another championship, looking for number 3 in her last season with the promotion. She will be staying with the PFL next year, but this is going to be her last time competing in a seasonal format as she's going to the pay-per-view series. But yeah, pretty easy dominant win. Not much to say about it, right? And same can be said for the other fights. As Larissa Pacheco once again defeated Alana Kolesnik via first round TKO punches at 209. So that means we have the trilogy fight set for the championship. Pacheco versus Harrison 3. Pacheco down 0-2 on the scores, or in the series, I should say. Didn't get finished in either fight. She made it to a decision, and she's been knocking everybody out since then. And she did that again here with Kolesnik, who she knocked out brutally in their first fight. And Kolesnik learned a little bit not to rush in that same way. So that was good on her part, but still the power just overwhelmed her. Nothing you can really do about that, it would seem, from Pacheco's opponent's perspectives. And she cashes her ticket to her first finals, right? The Harrison fights she had in the past were not in the finals, because the first one, maybe the first one was, I don't remember who Kayla beat in the first final championship match. Obviously last year was Gordado, but I don't know. I mean, it's the most interesting fight that could have came out of things at this point. So I am actually looking forward to it. It probably won't be too much different than the first two. I mean, it could be. We've seen Kayla look a little bit more human. I mean, the Marina Magnatkina fight, for example, was kind of the best example of that. And I mean, I shouldn't even say really human. We know kind of the competition level and all that at this point. But I'm intrigued by the trilogy. I think it should be decently interesting. I mean, after that, it's like, well, better do something different here, PFL, because both of them are just beating everybody except for each other. So I think in terms of keeping things interesting, it might be best case scenario for PFL to have Pacheco win. But in terms of marketing and building your brand and all that, they don't want Kayla to lose, of course. But we'll see. So that fight will take place in October, I think, is a championship. I don't know if they've announced the location yet, at least not that I've heard or seen. They very well could have. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. 2 pretty easy victories. Pretty easy tournament for both of them, if we're to be completely honest there. So that's how it goes. Sammy is here, and he says, Drake is the man with the plan. Oh, I thought we were doing the thing Rain started. Yep, you can go ahead, go with it. Jumbo, good to see you. Delvin says that Kayla promo was very so cringe. Yeah, that was I enjoy listening to Kayla speak and, share her thoughts on things and, be expressive, all that kind of stuff. But, in this kind of case, I don't know. It was, I don't know. It didn't do it for me the way that it did for other people, I guess. Again, and after kind of seeing the same movie over and over with her, it's like, I mean, we know that you're the best. There's no need for reminders. No one's counting you out or anything. I did like the dig. The Brazilian comment was pretty good there. And it's funny, I didn't even realize kind of what her biggest rivals, you could say, even though Nunes and Cyborg haven't fought her, but they've been talked about. And then Pacheco, obviously. They are all Brazilians. So I did not realize that until she mentioned it, but that was a funny line, I thought. A solid line there. Jimmy says, why is PFL ban elbows? I heard that it was illegal on the broadcast. It's because of the tournament format, Jimmy, so that they can don't have to worry about long-lasting cuts or whatever going into their next fights, like 5 weeks later or whatnot. I think elbows are allowed in the championship though, because there's obviously nothing to wait for afterward. So that's cool and good. More elbows, the better. And Alex, good to see you. He is back, the man with some slight spoilers last week. This is how hyped am I for Loma Bume's fight, and we will get to that announcement shortly. Yeah, I'm always excited to watch Loma fight, and I like Diana as well. Shameless plug, caught up with her before the fight, so you can check that out here at MMAmania.com as well as the YouTube channel. Yeah, should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it, Alex. This ghost is not gonna lie. The judges' scorecard, the announcer scorecard is very confusing. Yep, it's fucking really annoying. I hate that they add all that extra stuff. So yeah, I'm with you there. I'm not a fan. I'm not confused by it. I'm annoyed by it because it doesn't mean anything. And it's just there to be more confusing for other people, like perhaps yourself there, Ghost. And Ray says, why not just cut 155? Because they want to be different. They want to have all these unique things. Exactly what Ghost is mentioning here. They're all the additional shit that they put on, kick speed, all this stuff that doesn't really matter, but it's just fancy, I guess, for investors and whatnot to get on board. In theory, I don't know, because it's just a lot thrown in your face. And 155, clearly, there's no point to it. We know that it's a made up division, literally. Kimball, good to see you. Did I get a new haircut? Yes, I did. So thank you for noticing and saying I look fresh. Not sure how I feel about it just yet, but yeah, that is what is happening on the head. James says, why would Harrison ever leave the PFL? She's earning a lot and gets easy fights. What a life, right? Yeah, very true. That is kind of the thing. It's just about if she wants to test herself, which she does. She's got the money now. She was going to go to Bellator. PFL stopped it. She was going to have that Cyborg fight. PFL stopped it. So she can't be too mad in terms of her bank account numbers, but in terms of the competition, obviously, she knows she's not fighting the best. She knows this. Delvin says he loves the ref cam. Pride love. Yeah, the ref cam's kind of fun. Looks funny on the refs, but yeah, it's fun. Bells and whistles don't mean anything if the bike doesn't run well. There you go. I like that analogy. That's fun. But yeah, PFL. PFL playoffs from London. We have everything set for the championship, which again, I'm pretty sure is October. Not sure of the location, but wouldn't mind going to that, especially if it's in the States. I mean, I'd love to go international again. It's been a while since I've left the country. Not since I was in China, I don't think. Yeah, pretty sure that was the last time I left the country. So 2019. Yeah, I mean, obviously that has to be one because that's when the pandemic and everything started, at least towards the end there. So we'll see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Anyway, let's move on to UFC 278, which was quite a ridiculous event for a couple reasons. Primarily the main and co-main event. But what we did get was the return of Lucy Pudilova, who very likely sent Wu Yanan her walking papers via second round TKO. Hellbows, I should say. Hellbows and punches at 404. So this was a pretty dominant effort by Lucy, the wrestler a bit here, the grappler, you could say, who are typically not seeing that kind of stuff out of her. So some good improvements in her overall game, implementing a more patient approach standing and then finding those openings to get things to the ground when she did. Grabbing that head and arm in the first round when Yanan got in close, and then smashing her in the second round. Some relentless ground and pound. You love to see that, especially elbows, all about them. But for Wu Yanan, that is 4 in a row. What she's 1-5 now in the UFC. This 100% had to be her last fight in the UFC, which is a bummer, of course, for her. But hey, still just 26. She has time to get better and come back. Look at Pudilova, literally did that. So the person who beat you and probably sent you on your way is a good example of being able to climb your way back up on the outside looking in. Not so sure where she may fight. I mean, she has fought at 125 before. Invicta could be a good spot for her since she's been stateside for like the last at least a full year, I think, since she was recovering from her knee injury and has been with Jackson Wink with Mung Bo as well. But if she wants to try and get back down to 125 again, then Bellator is always an option. But she didn't really have any answers here in this one, and it was a pretty one-way traffic. Lucy Pudilova, typically pretty violent, but it was in a different fashion this time. As we said last week, she's quite the Terminator on the feet, but we saw that in the grappling this time and got some good positions there. And it was annoying in the first round though when she had side control, and I believe Herb was the ref here, and he was threatening to stand him up. That was pissing me off. I hate stand-ups because it's that rule, right? If you can't get the opponent off of you yourself, or like find a way to, if you don't want them on you, then get them off of you, or don't let them get there in the first place. Like, I think that ref stand-ups are bullshit, and especially from good positions like that, side control, you can't do that. Come on, what are we doing? Thankfully, did get stood up though. So all worked out in the end for Lucy, and good re-injection, you could say, for bantamweight. Our bodies, good to have her back. As Jen is here, and he says, "Hey Drake, will you be going to UFC 281 for the coronation? What is that, November? I have no plans to as of right now. Let me look at the calendar here. That will probably be the week after my birthday. Yes, it will be. Which is fine. I don't know. I don't have the plan to do so yet, Jen, but there's always a possibility. New York is always a crazy time. And Go says, Wu Yanan hit a 4-punch combo in the beginning of the first, and it had no effect. Don't know if you remember that. Not so much. Probably because it didn't have any impact or effect, Ghost. But yeah, she always looks sharp, right? It's just she just can't do much with it, it seems like. Telvin says, poor Mulan, indeed. James says, I thought Yan Xiaonan was bad on the ground. How dare you? Wu Yanan is even worse. How do you not know how to retain guard from side control? I may only be a blue belt, but I know white belts that know better. Jimmy says, speaking of Herb, did you hear Joe say he was the best? Yes, that was always frustrating to hear that. Makoto asking, building off that, why do I think Herb gets so much praise? Because he's been around for a long time. People who have paid attention, though, and don't just look at the longevity, realize that Herb is frustratingly bad. And yes, you got to give him credit, though, because that was a good call that he did make, readjusting the position on the fence grab. I was not mad at that, but yeah. Generally, Herb is not so great these days. It's been a while since his glory days, for sure. Stelvin says, hopefully Mulan can bring honor to another organization. Yeah, like I said, I think Invicta would probably be cool to have her there. Obviously, I don't know about throwing her into a title fight right away or anything like that. Wouldn't make sense with the losing streak, but you could have her fight. I don't know, she could fight Olga Rubin, who just lost. I mean, something like that. Lisa Spangler's still around. Versosa. So there's some options. And again, if she wants to cut to 125, could be possible. Let's go cut back down to it. Let's go says she hit a jab, right hand, left hook, right hand, and her opponent just shrugged it off. Well, yeah. I mean, again, Lucy Pudilova, notoriously very tough as well. So it was never a great matchup for Wu. It really never was. And the proof was in the pudding there. Just played out a little bit differently than expected, that's for sure. Did not expect her to show off such great grappling improvements. at least compared to what we've seen from her in the past, especially in her UFC run. And that's just typically not what we get out of her. So, curious to see how she can build off that going forward. As Karen is here, good to see you. Says hi, new time, same time, different day, Karen. So Tuesday, same time though. Sorry for any inconvenience. We're going through kind of some adjustments right now, juggling things up on my end. So apologies. Hope it wasn't too confusing for you or anyone else who is maybe readjusting to the Tuesday time, same time, different day, I should say. Moving from Monday at the moment. At least we're going to stick with Tuesdays for now. See how it plays out. Going so far, so good. And James says, Yan Jianan is bad on the ground. What was the lie there? I'm not saying it was a lie necessarily. Obviously, she didn't look great against Carla. But you know, Yan Jianan's one of my favorites. That's all it was. And again, that's like the only time we've seen her obviously struggle on the ground and against one of the best, arguably the best wrestler in the division now that Tatiana Suarez has been gone for so long. So I think you can take that with not a grain of salt, but until it continues to prove a problem, we don't need to highlight it too much. But yeah, clearly it was not great there. So, all right, let's get to the news cycle here. We're moving at a pretty good pace. Get right into it. Sorry, guys, you can tell my energy's a little bit low today. Got so much going on. It's been a crazy start of the week. As the month is getting over here already. August is just about coming to a close. What next week is? Yeah, next Wednesday will be the 31st. My goodness. Things are moving. 2022 is moving. So with that comes the fight you're all waiting for. I just mentioned Carla, the champ, is here to defend against Zhang Wei Li at UFC 281 on November 12th in New York City. As your boy told you, and as I predicted, I mean, once Dana said that there'd be no more title fights on 280, you kind of knew. And then with Martina getting booked and just how things were kind of lining up, we had a feeling it would be one of these year-end shows. So yeah, good addition. Obviously, this is the fight that we knew was going to happen. It was just a matter of getting the announcement. And shout out to Alex, like I said last week, for getting somewhat of an inside scoop, talking to the source herself, going straight to the source, Wei Li, and how kind of her to give him an answer that, yes, things are done, but can't speak on it yet. But now we can speak on it as it's happening. So, New York City, this card is shaping up. This will be the second time Wei Li and Adesanya have been headliners on the same card. There's no fights on it just yet, right? I don't think. They've done 3 for MSG before. See if they do that again. Unless I'm missing one. I feel like I might be. I don't think so, though. I'm going to do a quick check just to be nice and proper. But I know Dan Hooker was added to this card today as well. Dominic Reyes is back on that one also. So yeah, 281 is coming along swimmingly, as you could say. Nope, I wasn't forgetting a title fight. All right. That's good. So yeah, looking forward to it, of course. And just happy that we're getting it before the end of the year, really. That's kind of the big thing. Keep things moving atop the division, especially when it was stagnated for a good bit there. So, and feel free to get in your comments throughout, you guys. Don't worry, we can go back and forth. I'm just getting through the bits here as we do in the news cycle. Because also on that card, another strawweight fight was announced as Silvana Gomez Juarez will meet Karolina Kowalkiewicz earlier on in the night. So this has potential to be a pretty fun striking matchup, I think. And I'm glad to see that they are giving Silvana at least more of a another striker. Not to say um, Liang Na, not known for striking, obviously, and that was just a very poor and unfortunate performance from her last time out. And we know Silvana can crack. She's got some of the best power in the division, if we're going to be honest, from what we've seen from her. But has fallen short against grapplers in the UFC so far. And Karolina, always willing to stand and trade, sometimes to her detriment, especially in the later half of her career here. But got back in the win column her last time out against Felice Herrig. But she showed off the grappling in that one, so who knows? Maybe she can surprise again here. But bit of a scary matchup for her. It's kind of one of those ones where, all right, you get back in the win column against kind of someone on that same career spectrum as you, and then, all right, you go against, I mean, Silvana's obvious. I think Silvana's maybe older than her, but Silvana, I would say, is more of a prospect still at this stage, which is funny because, again, she is older, nearly 40. But in terms of her career positioning, I think you can be a prospect at that age still. And so it's just kind of funny how you look at the matchmaking in that regard. So, yeah, 2 good additions there to 281. But wait, there's more strawweight action coming up. Just announced today, Maria Oliveira will fight Vanessa Demopolis, the UFC Fight Night event on November 19th, the week after that. So Vanessa Demopolis, obviously there's the Whaley tie-in there too. Maria Oliveira got that good fun win over Gloria DePaula her last time out. First win in the octagon. And Vanessa Demopolis keeps on keeping on as well. Should be a pretty fun fight here. I think the length difference should be pretty funny. I would imagine Oliveira should have some good reach and height advantages on Vanessa, at least reach. As a little monster is one of the tinier in the division. I think that's fair to say, at least in terms of stature. But yeah, that should be a fun one as well. I'm not mad at the matchmaking there. A little bit maybe surprised by it, but it's fine. I think it's totally fine. So that is what we're working with here in the news cycle, you guys. That is it for the day, as we're going to get close here to wrapping up. So feel free to ask away as I'm fading. I feel real exhausted. It is hitting me now. So I'm going to have to get a nap in at some point today. Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot going on, like I said. But I guess I can leave the news tab up just to see what everyone's saying about everything, as I'm sure there's plenty to say. Ghost says, I was at Carla's seminar. She was saying she wasn't ready until next year. You think UFC pushed it? Well, what? That seminar was somewhat soon after 275, right? I feel like during that time she was waiting, right, to hear kind of back the results on her hands or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Pushed it. That kind of phrasing is kind of interesting, but I'm sure that they just offered and we're like, hey, there's this for you. And I mean, think about it. Somebody pointed this out too on Twitter, like Madison Square Garden card, big event. She's the champ. She gets pay-per-view points in that co-main event slot. So like, she ain't going to pass that up. So I don't know if there was even pushing to be done. Again, there's no real way to know, I guess, unless you ask her side of things. But it's not a bad spot to be in, especially if it's rushed. And I mean, what, November, that's still a good, decent amount of time away. As Telvin says, will this title fight headline the event? No, definitely not. Pereira and Adesanya 3 is 100% the main event there. No doubt about it. Sammy says, I don't understand why people are giving Carla a chance. There are people, not just me, spying on Esparza's camp at Team Oyama. All right, well, there we go. Sammy just outing himself as a spy, which, take that for what you will. That doesn't make you look good, Sammy. I don't think, at least doesn't make the, you're gonna give the Carla fan some ammo there with the excuse to say that Whaley needs spies, outing it right there, which is not the case. But hey, that's how it can look. But everybody has a chance, Sammy. Obviously, we just saw this past weekend, Leon Edwards looked dead to rights and scored a head kick out of nowhere. We've seen crazier things happen. And again, I've told you, the Carla has a chance specifically and only because of her wrestling. That is the only path to victory she has. And is that like an amazing chance? Not necessarily. I don't think so. But that is definitely her chance. She's not going to knock Whaley out. At least, hey, I literally just said the Leon Edwards thing. I don't see it happening unless it was with like a head kick. I don't think she's could land a punch knockout. That's the lowest probability, clearly. But yeah, this Karen is hyped. Jimmy says, Drake, there really are people on IG that are feeding Whaley's team info. That is very funny. It's not cool, in my opinion. I think that's kind of it's kind of messed up, honestly. And again, like, if you're so confident in your fighter to win, you shouldn't need to do that, right? But that's just very like unethical, kind of. I don't want to say scummy, and I'm not calling you scummy or anything, Sammy, but it's like, it's just kind of dirty, underhanded tactics. Like, that's literally illegal in, I shouldn't say illegal, but like the NFL, for example. That was an issue a couple of years back with the Patriots, spying on their teams, other teams, and getting like in trouble for that. So, and I mean, if you've got found out about, you're definitely getting banned from the gym. That's not a very cool thing to do. you know. And again, you shouldn't need to do that if you believe your fighter's going to win anyway, which we all feel that way. So you're just giving ammo to the other side and for excuses and whatnot. Team Magnum says, Makoto, why are the same people that overlooked saying she's washed and not confident Whaley at 275 getting mad at the fact that Carla is being overlooked? Let's see. Getting mad at the fact that, I don't know. I'm not seeing this stuff. You guys always see like the things that I don't see anywhere. It's like, I don't know why you care about it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much of an answer for that. As Alvin says, I wish all the competitors the best of preparation and good performance. May the best fighter win on fight night. There you go. Indeed. And Go says, yeah, I'm a part of that group that sends information away as camp. In fact, the admin is paying me to do analysis of training footage. All right. Well, everyone's outing themselves now. Spying. My goodness. Jin says, how hyped are you to see Whaley get her belt back in dominant fashion? I'm very excited. Yeah, it'll be fun. I expect a good performance from her. This goes to seminar attended was August 7th. So, okay, that was very recent. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, good incentives to be on that one. I think Whaley takes this easy, says James. Training at Bangtown and Henry doing her game plan. It's just a nightmare for Esparza. Yep, even without that, it's a tough one. Sammy says, not really. I'm causing camp turmoil. They let anyone walk into Team Oyama. I mean, any gym lets anyone walk in, though, Sammy. That's the thing. And Alex says, people can also just watch Whaley over here at Bangtao. Very true. I mean, they very well could be. Spygate. As Telvin says, anyone has a chance painting over Nunez is the definition of that till this day. Good point. And Alex says, if Carla has fans, they can also watch Whaley over here. Yeah, indeed. So there are definitely ways, but like, yeah, going out of your way for it, especially if you're like not involved whatsoever, that's kind of something. That's kind of something. Not involved with the team and the camp and everything is what I mean. Anyway, look at that, making some very good time here. as we move on to the one fight of the weekend. And again, feel free to continue getting in any questions or comments. We'll do an hour maximum here, but obviously we are early or quick and rolling along at a good clip as I planned. But just one fight to preview on One on Prime Video 1, which is at atom weight, the 115-pound weight class over in One Championship. Lin Hashin, a former fellow training partner of Weili's, taking on Itsuki Hirata. And I don't know if it's the main card opener. Should be on the main card. It'd be nice to spotlight this fight, and especially, before we get into this fight, really, let's just kind of talk about how it's it's so funny to me how one just like does not hide their favoritism whatsoever. Not even a little bit. Like the only promotion of this fight I've seen from them has been specifically centered around Itsuki Hirata, who just lost her first fight against Jihin 4 months ago, as you can see. And Lin coming off that good win against B, and then a great win in her first kickboxing match as well. Seen nothing, no highlighting of Lin whatsoever. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who talked to her before the fight. Shameful, very shameful. And no shame whatsoever from one. And Itsuki, yeah, she's still great, of course. Good, fun prospect. Android 18, 23 years old. Great judo. The usual here, but spread the love a little bit, one. Come on. So as you can see, you got some big reach advantages here for Lin Hashin. 5'2" versus 5'6", 62-inch, 62.6, kind of funny to see, versus 66. So she is always kind of one of the bigger, taller fighters in this division. Utilizes her length generally pretty well. And I mean, we got that Phantom Punch breakdown special last week, right? Highlighting her Sonda sidekick and with the spin around with the potential for spinning back fists. She knows how to utilize her length, has very good kicks in general. Is very sharp with her hands as well. I mean, she's a striker. It's what she does best. And her last loss came to Ritu Fogit, who's a very strong wrestler, and one of the smaller ones too. So that gives you kind of reason to believe maybe the reach won't be so much of an issue. Because obviously for Itsuki, it would be best to make things ugly, make it dirty, get in there and make her uncomfortable. Utilize that judo, get things to the ground, and work your way from there, as Itsuki typically can do and should be able to do against Lin, even though she has been working on those grappling holes that she might have in her arsenal. So curious to see how she can defend against those potentially, attacks and moments that Itsuki will bring to her. But for the most part, this should be, I think Lin should be able to find great success if she utilizes her rangy weapons and keeps Itsuki away. I don't think she'd have too much to worry about. She still has kind of a lot to work on with her own striking, does Hirata. But once he gets a hold of you, that's where it gets most interesting, obviously. And we even saw her get hurt against Elise Anderson in her last win in the tournament there. Right there, 11 months ago now. That's insane to think about. But she got dropped in that one. So, and Elise kind of similar bodied to Haitian. We'll see. She's got some solid momentum. She's staying active. Great to see. She missed a good gap of time. Excuse me. Gap of time before right there, as you can see, the Ritu fight, which, hey, that could have played a part in it too, the inactivity, even though stylistically that was going to be a tough one for her. But yeah, missed a good chunk there thanks to the pandemic. How dare you? And now she's coming back in this one. Not coming back, but she's staying active, like I said. So, and I mean, her kickboxing match was like a month right after that win fight. So they're about on the same time frame there. I'm looking forward to this one. Always looking forward to when each of them fight. I have spoken to both of them before. And hey, this will be a fight at a good time for us in the US, so I can watch this one live, and it's the only event going on this week. So one championship, I will give them credit for making some well-placed timing of this event when there's no other events going on. What I think it's is it technically it's some holiday here in America this weekend, I think. Shame on me for maybe not knowing. Oh no, Labor Day's coming up. That's what it is. But is that on a Monday? Okay. Yeah. Good call by them to get this center stage. Demetrius and Marais too, which is going to be interesting as well. One on Prime Video, one. Good for them. So, all right. Sharon, good to see you. Telvin says, love Android 18. Yeah, she is a fun one to watch, like I said, but let's even out the love one. Got to give the fighting sister, the MMA sister, some love as well. So Rain says, do you think Weili will just take Esparza down and just dominate her on the ground? I mean, no, that's not how I would expect it to go. I would think, Weili's a very smart fighter, has a great fight IQ, game plans very appropriately. And if she fights smart, again, I talk about this all the time, every time we're talking about matchups, right? Path of least resistance. Why gamble in the area your opponent is best at? So that would be wrestling with Carla. Can she? I believe she can. Is it worth it? Not really. Look at how look at how big a gap there is in the striking department. Like Weili has no reason to even bother playing around down there. Can she? Yeah. But like, why even do it when you can piece her up on the feet and have your way there? Probably defend pretty well because Carla's gonna have to set things up or find her moments sparingly. But I feel like you've asked me this before, Rain. Somebody has, I think, but yeah, I don't expect that to happen. Maybe she would do that in counter, but I don't expect her to initiate that kind of part of the fight or area, you could say. I don't know. You get what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm all over the place. But yeah, that's one on Prime Video 1. Feel free to continue commenting about that. Jimmy says, why is it wrong to spy on a camp? Joanna said in an interview before her rematch with Weili, she had inside sources on Weili, her camp specifically in Bang Tao. That doesn't mean it was right either. It's just like, it's, I don't know. I don't want to say cheating, but again, it's like I made with the NFL comparison. It's private sessions, right? They're not recorded or filmed for a reason. There's all the footage of the actual fights for a reason as well. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, if you're so confident in being able to beat somebody, then you shouldn't even need to do that. Now, if you are doing that, then it shows that maybe you're lacking some confidence there and you need to know as much as you possibly can about your opponent there because you're worried about your own abilities, in theory. Because why else would you do it? Why else would you do it? And Jeff says, I saw the interview with Hei Shin. Where does she train now and why did she leave Black Tiger? I'll appreciate you checking it out. She is with the, the Fighting Brothers MMA or something like that. I believe it's not her own gym, but obviously has some kind of affiliation there because that's kind of like her nickname. And I'm pretty sure that is still in China too. I don't know why she left Black Tiger. I should have asked that. So shame on me. Maybe next time. But I know that she's not from, it could have been like a location thing. I don't think she's kind of living in that area right now. Let's see, where is Lynn from? I don't remember. Let's pull it up real quick. What do we got? Wenzhou is where she was born. Not so sure where she's fighting out of. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that one, Zhao, but yeah, for the gym, Fighting Brothers MMA, I think something like that is the name of the gym. As Ghost says, it's hard to catch the Sonda sidekick. Problem of Lynn is she does back up a lot. So yeah, there you go. There's a possibility for Itsuki to get in there. This is why are there a Carla defense force? Is there though? Delvin says ONE FC on Prime is better than them on TNT. Yeah, I would agree with that. As Ghost says, Leon was able to take Kamaru down even when the wrestling credentials strategy always overcomes credentials. That's a good point. That was excellently timed trip that he hit on Kamaru in that first round. Good stuff there. Won him the round, essentially. As Ghost says, it's not about going away from your opponent's specialty, but making it hard for them. Yes, indeed. Zhao says, Fighting Brothers, like her nickname, Fighting Sister. Yes, exactly. So that's why I'm assuming there must be some kind of interesting affiliation there, perhaps. Jersey, good to see you. Thomas says, also saw Android 18 training at Ray Longo's gym. Interesting choice. Yeah, she was in New York recently, huh? Probably training with Mizuki, and Kanaka was up there for a bit too. So all the Japanese gals, the Strawweights, getting some working together. Well, what Mizuki's a flyweight now, isn't she? And still hasn't come back from the torn ACL. So hopefully she's getting close here. Speaking of her, but yeah, I don't think Itsuki is sponsored by Marion Apparel, but they all have that kind of in common as well. So yeah, and Longo up there and whatnot. So not bad. We'll see how that can play in to her advantage. But all right, you guys, I think that might do it here for a short Tuesday show. Again, a weekend free from UFC, like my rhymes. Just one fight for the women in one championship, and then that the rest of the card obviously looking pretty solid there, kicking things off with a bang. DJ Moraes too. See if that looks any different. Not sure. DJ's only had the Rod Tank fight since then, so kind of interesting path back to this one. But anyway, as for what we got going on here, you guys, obviously I mentioned the Diana Belbita interview, Lin Hei Shin, as was mentioned by some of you guys. Appreciate that so much. Tom Theo Karras is still out there. Great story he has. Very heartfelt story. Yeah, there's a couple things on the channel right now and on the website. And actually got one dropping today. I forgot all about that, but spoke to Goichi Yamauchi, who just had that great win over Neiman Gracie. My goodness, the record holder for submission to Bellator, scoring that knockout. Very fun stuff with him. Cool chatting with him. Got some Japan affiliation talk going in there too. So check out that one coming out today, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. So in a matter of hours here. Speaking with Goichi, it's good stuff. You can find that on the website as well as the channel. And then, yeah, we'll be working on some things here in like 10 minutes too, which will be coming soon. So there's a lot going on, you guys. I am pretty tired, so we can wrap it up there real quick. First, Alex has a question about spying on gyms. We probably have that too, since there are many tourists that come here and film our training. Yeah, for sure. Very, very possible. Very likely. So Alex says, do you think it's really a problem? Bang Tao allows people to just watch. Well, I mean, if they're fine with it, I'm sure they got to be aware of that kind of thing. But again, it's just kind of, I've gone over it a bit here already, but kind of the moral aspect of it and what exactly your need or thought process is behind it, I suppose, I guess. But anyway, you guys, you can follow me at DrakeRiggs_ on Twitter and Instagram. Follow MMA Mania on all the platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube here, or wherever you're watching. Instagram as well. We got TikTok now. Shout out to Alex Behunin, who's doing all that stuff. Like, share, and subscribe really helps us out a whole lot. And there's also the notification bell. So hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday and a great rest of the week. And I will see. Well, real quick, I guess I should say there's Dana White's Contender Series tonight as well. I forgot to mention that. I've been so all over the place. There is a fight tonight, so watch out for that one. I forget exactly who it is. I apologize. But there is a fight tonight, too. And I should also mention that last week, Haley Cowan got the win and a contract. So that should be part of the news. Coming in late here. I'm sorry, you guys. Haley Cowan is now on the roster after that win. But thank you so much, James. I appreciate that sentiment. So, yeah, a whole lot going on. Appreciate you guys as always. And I will see you next week if you feel the need to tune in. I appreciate you if you do. And if not, then I'll see you when I see you. Until then, take care, you guys.